Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Farming Simulator 25 map guide. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Maizy Lou Farms. But before that, this video is brought to you by Chasey Dog and Peter Does Farming. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Maizy Lou Farms map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Now this is a very small map, coming in at just 55.18 megabytes in size to download, and let me go ahead and read you some of the description. Maizy Lou Farms is primarily a fictitious farming map with some forestry. There are 3 farms on the map, each with a different feel, and a nice sized forestry for those winter months, or if you get bored farming. Try playing in multiplayer with your friends or by yourself. Here's some of the features of the map. There are 3 farms, 1 forestry area, Carpentery Production, edited for increased inputs and outputs. A paper mill, increased production for outputs. 3 silos, 1 on each farm, have increased capacities. Bale and pallet storage can hold up to 500 bales or pallets. The chicken coop in the upper farm holds 100 chickens and 10,000 liters worth of feed. Lion buying station available at each farm, as well as sell points for fertilizer and seed. There are various base game productions and farm buildings scattered around the map, and 1 plot of land at the top of the map can be purchased and used as a placeable area or for extra grass. That said, let's make our way back over here to the map itself and take a look at the PDA. You're going to find this map is basically split up into 3 different sections. We've got a section here to the northwest. That's going to be one of the farms. We have a section here to this northeast divided by this road. That's going to be a second potential farm area. And then we have this section down here to the southwest, again divided by this road. And that's going to be the 3rd farm location. Then the 4th area on this map is going to be the large forest area, split up into multiple farm lands. With respect to the farm that we start with at the start, should we choose to own the farm at the start, well, we own the farm here on the northeast of the map. That is going to be at farmland ID 37. And if you do not own the farm at the start, you will be able to buy this, but you'll need $778,000 to buy this. It includes all the farmland and a good chunk of land to the north, but does not include farmlands 2017. So those are kind of encompassed around, or your farmland is encompassed around those, but you do not actually own those. With respect to the fields you do own at the start, you start out with the fields 10, 11, and 14. Then there's a fairly large amount of fields here in this quadrant that you can also purchase for your specific farm. As far as the other farms available on the map, well, we have one at farmland ID 38, and you can buy that for $930,000. While the main starting farm is sheep and cows, farmland ID 38 is pigs and cows. And then we have farmland ID 36, which is here to the northwest, and that is going to be cows and chickens. And you're going to be able to buy that for $932,100. Then there was a mention of a plot of land here to the north that you can buy and either make it a placeable area or just extra grass. That's going to be farmland ID 45 for $138,156. This map does include all the standard crops that are available to us in Farm Sim 25. And we do have, with respect to our precision farming soil map, we are making use of the US soil map that is a part of the precision farming mod. Here we can see how that Riverbend Springs soil map is being applied to our starting fields of fields 10, 11, and 14, as well as all of the other fields on this map. With respect to our crop counter, we do have the standard FS25 crop counter available to us. With respect to our animals, again, with our starting farm, we have cows and sheep, and then we have cows and pigs at farmland ID 38, and chickens and cows at farmland ID 36. We do have contracts available on this map, including the new FS25 contracts of deadwood, wood transport, and I'm sure stone crushing will pop up on occasion. We do have several productions available. In fact, each farm has a mushroom greenhouse and a large tarp greenhouse. So if you own all 3 farms, well, then you're going to have 3 mushroom greenhouses and 3 regular greenhouses available to you. And then with respect to our productions that we could buy, we have a bakery, canning factory, carpentry, cereal factory. We have our cooper. We have a dairy. We have a grain mill, oil mill, paper factory, sawmill, spinnery, and tailor shop. In all, there is potential for up to 18 productions already pre-placed on this map. As far as sell points, I counted up 5 unique sell points, minus, of course, the production, because if you don't own the production, well, then it is a sell point as well. We're going to be talking about our vehicles here in a moment. We do not have any hand tools at the start. This map does have the 25 Riverbend Springs collectibles scattered around the map, so good luck in your collectible hunt. With respect to that starting fleet, well, if we take a look at our garage, we have the McCormick X8 631 VT drive medium tractor. We also have our International 200 series pickup truck. We've got the TDK 301 RP trailer. We have our Omega 00 6000 FL seeder. And then for our planter, we have the Optima RS. We have our Breedall K105 lime and fertilized spreader. And then we have a Massey Ferguson 7360 AL4 harvester. This one's kind of unique because it will do self-leveling. And then paired up with that, we have a free flow 25-foot grain header. And we have the Capello Diamant 8 corn header. This map does not have any custom vehicles or implements included. Now, when we load in for the first time, we do start here at our vehicle shop. So while we're here, we might as well take a look and see where our vehicles are going to spawn. If we go ahead and pick one of those up. Right around front here. So we've got a pretty decent sized area for our starting machinery to spawn at. And then with respect to our dealer trigger, well, that's going to be located over here at the side building, just like Riverbend Springs. You can see where our vehicle shop is with respect to then where our starting farm is located. Right here. All of the buildings on all 3 farms will be able to be sold, so you won't have to worry about not being able to sell those. And right across the way from our starting farm, we do have a bit of a dead forest, and you can kind of look at the forest area that is also available here on the map. With respect to our starting farm, we come into the farm, and to our left, we're going to have our cow pasture. So we have our food and straw triggers here inside. This particular cow pasture is going to be able to hold 138 cows as configured. And then this building also does not provide slurry by default, nor does it provide manure or milk. So you're going to want to put your non-milk giving cows there, or sell the building and put your own animal pasture down. We have our bale and pallet storage, and this has been modified to hold 500 as opposed to the default 250. We have our standard greenhouse located right here. And then we have our mushroom greenhouse located right inside of here, with your corresponding trigger there for your pallets, your water trigger, and then your standard greenhouse. We have our pallets, our water trigger, and our interactive icon inside. Got a nice storage barn here, just for some machinery and such. We have a lime buy point right there. Fuel storage, some more machinery storage. Here we're going to find our sheep area for 102 sheep. Since this is the base game sheep area, we have our food trough, and we're going to find our wool or milk for goats over here on the side. We have our farm silo. Nice easy shed. Also for our machinery. A little bit of a garage, separated garage for our pickup truck. And then we have our farmhouse with our sleep and wardrobe triggers up here. And like I said, all of the items at this farm and technically all of the other farms can be sold. So you have complete control over how these farms are set up if you don't like any of the buildings or the layout. Let's get a little bit of altitude, and again, we'll take a look at our farm. And we'll make our way over to the second farm that I want to talk about, which is the one down here to the southwest. So basically just south from town, down the hill. And here we have our farm. So we have our entry lane here beside our forest. A nice 4-bay machine shed. And then just on the other side of our machine shed, we do have our farmhouse. With our sleep and wardrobe triggers. More large storage for our machines. We have our fuel. And then we have our large pig area. So we have our slurry. On the other side, we're going to, of course, have our food trigger and our pig delivery trigger. And this area is going to be good for 657 pigs. So they'll keep you quite busy with all of your agriculture. We have our mushroom and our standard greenhouse. Our lime buying station. Our pallet storage. So all of these are basically set up very, very similar. Just some slightly different layouts. Then lots of freedom here for additional placements of structures. We have our large farm silo here with their dump and fill points. This one specifically is, I think, one of the biggest on the game. And then we have our cow area. This is going to be with the feeding robot. So we have our mineral feed. We have our silage, our straw, and our hay. We're set up for 142 cows here. We have our milk trigger. And then, of course, if we wish to manually feed, we're going to be doing that inside as well as with our straw. And that's pretty much the second farm that is available on this map. We get a little bit of altitude here. And then we'll make our way diagonal to the farm that's up on the hillside, directly in front of us. Kind of a really interesting layout. Got a long lane going up a hillside here. And we have several kind of flat plateaus, I guess you could say. And I found this relatively interesting, where we have kind of storage containers sunk into the stone. To kind of give you, I guess, some more area there to work with. We have a 3-sided silage bunker here. Again, butted up against some storage containers. Up on the next level, we're going to have our greenhouses. Our large farm silo. Not quite as large as the one down to the south, but still big. We have 2 machine shed storage there. We have our lime, we have our fuel, we have our pallet storage. And then we have a large kind of contractor shed for our machinery and such. We have our cows at the top level. And we're going to be able to do a total of 147 cows here. Or water buffalo, of course. We have our milk trigger. We have our food in straw inside. And this is once again a feeding robot area. So we have our hay, straw, and silage. Mineral feed around the side, as well as our slurry point. We have our chicken coop. This has been set up for 100 chickens. And then, as the description said, 10,000 liters worth of chicken feed. We have our egg spawn point there. We have our feeding trigger along that side. We have our farmhouse with our sleep trigger. And I would be surprised if we didn't have a wardrobe trigger here as well. 3-bay garage, and that's going to basically be the northwestern farm up here on the hillside. And then with respect to production and sell points, well, to the north, we're going to have sell point and a production. We have our farmer's market sell point here. So we have our palletized goods there. We have our grains on the other side. Across the street from that, well, here we have our preserved food factory with our pallet point, our dump point, and our interactive icon. If we make our way down the road, a nice varied terrain here. Not flat fields, but not overly hilly either. Up on the plateau, we have our town area. And, well, the town has got a lot going on. Got a little bit of a residential area here across the street. We have our Ducky's fuel point. In behind that, we do have a sell point here at the old grain mill. And I need to check something because I believe this might be a construction mission. So I was correct. I took a quick break from recording and dug through the map XML. And as best as I can tell, this is using the base code from the Farm Sim base game with respect to what it's going to take to build this out. So that's going to be 36,000 wooden beams, 48,000 planks, 72,000 long planks, 12,000 roof plates, 12,000 prefab walls, 6,000 units of cement, and 6,000 units of cement bricks. And then you'll be able to build out the grain museum. Then it's also set up as a sell point. We have our warehouse here where we could buy the goods in order to build that out if we wanted to. We have the trigger for that. That's where our goods are going to spawn. Or we have it as a sell point for the warehouse as well. Back here to our four-way intersection. To our right, we have our vehicle dealer. And then behind that, we're going to have our animal dealer, where we're going to have the ability to buy our animals. Right here, we have a Bale sell point here as well. And then around the back, where we're going to have the ability to purchase slurry and manure. Across the street from the shop, we're going to have a bounty of production. So we have our grain mill for our flour. We have our oil mill. We have our spinnery and our tailor. We have our cereal factory. Sorry about these trees getting in the way. We have a nice, interesting little restaurant up here on top of the hillside, overlooking the forest. Conductor's Cafe. We have a bakery. We have our dairy here as well. And then if we make our way out of town, down the hill, Right here we have the second farm that we looked at. But if we make our way into the woods, well, here we're going to find some more productions. We have our sawmill, we have our paper mill, we have our carpentry, we have our cooper, right? So we have our interactive icon there. We have our dump point. Our pallets are going to spawn right there. We have our paper mill, right, with our mill paper spawn point, our dump point there, our interactive icon as well. Our carpentry, all the associated triggers there. Our sawmill up here on the hillside. With our pallets. We have our interactive icon there. Building. And then we have our log sell point here. And then we do have a biogas plant that is on the map as well. You may have already seen it as we've been kind of tooling around. It's just south of our restaurant here at Farmland ID 47. You will need to buy Farmland ID 47 in order to then have and make use of the BGA. And that's going to be $43,000 to buy. So not overly expensive. We do have our dump point, interactive point. We have our dump point for our manure or slurry. And then we have our pickup point for our digestate. There are no bunkers here. So if you do buy this land, you'll probably want to put down your own bunker. And then the one thing that I haven't really checked at this point would be to see if we can sell the BGA. And we can indeed. So for $47,000, you could buy this, sell the BGA, make $437,000 in profit, and then use this as an alternate building site for additional construction. So, pretty good deal there, if you ask me. So, guys, that is it. That is Maizy Lou Farms. Pretty interesting map. Very, very easy to play. With respect to low-end systems, I was getting upper 30s to 50 FPS. Now, with my recommended medium custom settings, with FSR turned on, that means frame gen turned on as well, then to your eyes, we're looking at frames anywhere in the 70s to 100 FPS. Very, very smooth, very easy to play. So this map should play well on just about literally anything that can play Farm Sim, be it low-end consoles like the Xbox Series S, or lower-end PCs with or maybe without discrete graphics cards, because my test system is a system that is using AMD integrated graphics. I'd love to know your all's thoughts down in the comments below with respect to this particular map. And until next time, happy farming. We've even got a farmer's kiosk down here along the road. We missed that earlier.